complete chaos outside. Let's just say that the Fine Dragon supporters demonstrating for Daruk's freedom. I'm taking a very special interest in the outcome of today's trial. They look about ready to string us up if we lose. Trials are pretty much like the ones back home, but with one major difference. The divination seance. The victim's final memories will become a matter for deliberation. I've heard about that. But they haven't stopped you from winning your cases here in Korean. True, but it wasn't easy. Still, the memories of the dead are simply another piece of evidence. There's always a way to deal with them if your client is truly innocent. Well, I know Daruk is innocent, but I have one more big secret. Apollo, in court tomorrow, you may find yourself faced with a truth that is difficult to accept. But I know you, and I know you can handle the truth no matter what it turns out to be. I know that because I believe in you. You're my son, after all. Daruk, what is that secret you're keeping? Hey, AJ! Here you go, just like I promised. Thanks, Dad. Wait, weren't you arrested by the police yesterday? Yep, and I spent the night in the slammer. I had a fine meal, a shower, even a bed. What more could I ask for? That actually sounds way better than where we're staying. Just remember, AJ, if Daruk's found guilty today, we'll all probably be found guilty under the Defense Culpability Act too. Yeah, and I hear you just said something to that effect. That rich Garen wants to take advantage of today to cross out revolution once and for all. Fail the revolution, and every Kyoanese person rests on this trial. We're counting on you, AJ. We'll be fine. I'm going to win this one. You'll see. The trial will begin shortly, Apollo. Let's make our way into the courtroom. Right. Let the trial of Daruk Shadmari begin. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Majesty. So it's really come down to this. You don't expect me to hold anything back from the Hyuda. This trial will examine both the murder of Justice Minister Inga Karol Karayan and the assassination of the former queen, Amara Sigata Karayan. First, I believe we should address the murder of Minister Inga. Would that be acceptable, Prosecutor Shadmari? Prosecutor Shadmari? Yes, of course. Please proceed. What's with him? How very unlike you, Prosecutor. Is your mind elsewhere this day? Not at all, Your Majesty. Are you really going to be able to go through with this, Nahuyuda? Well, Prosecutor Shadmari, I would be remiss if I failed to voice a concern of mine. I've heard mention that you are sons to the accused, Daruk Shadmari. You have heard true. Does that fact pose some sort of a problem, Your Majesty? A father being prosecuted by his own son? Could one possibly deliberate such a case without having personal feelings intervene? Yes, without question. Can you really handle this? Even if it is prosecution Shadmari, going against your own father's just. How can the son of Korea even be a prosecutor? Daruk? Fellow citizens, You would do well not to underestimate my son. He's not one to allow personal feelings to interfere with the execution of his duty. Isn't that right, Nahayuda? I'll stop until my work here is done. See? So all you doubters is sit back down before you trip over your own stupidity. Ha 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 ha! The accused will not take the stand without first being summoned. In any case, the prosecution body has no issue with this arrangement. Then let us commence the deliberation.
Objection!
One moment, if you would. Your Eminence? Your Eminence, what brings you here? Your Majesty, it would appear that prosecution body does indeed have some reservations. No, that's not true. You truly believe you could deceive me, Nahayuda Shadmari? One should hold no reservations if one is to stand on these hallowed burial grounds. I have none yet. No, it is clear we cannot leave this matter to you. We shall handle the prosecution of enemy of the crown, Daruk Shamari, personally. Remain by our side and bear witness to how a true prosecutor enforces the law. Excuse me, is the Queen going to prosecute the case? Is that, kosher? There's no need for concern. Before we were crowned queen, we served as a prosecutor. Really? As a foreigner, your ignorance can be excused, but know this. The prosecutor in charge of the Queen Amara assassination case 23 years ago was none other than Her Eminence, Queen Giran Signata Karayan. First your Majesty, and now this? Why does anyone ever tell me these things? I heard she served as the Minister of Justice, but she was also a prosecutor? I guess she probably moved up the ladder from prosecutor to Justice Minister. We prosecuted that case 23 years ago, but no verdict was ever rendered. We had one guilty verdicts in every case until then, for no lawyer could stand up to us. I am at a loss for words. I think I would once more bear witness to Her Eminence at work in the Hall of Justice. After his trial in 23 years, no quarter shall be given to criminals. We shall prosecute them with all our might. Magnificent sight! The Queen's Temple Prosecutor Days, and you can get to see it once more! What the? That's Queen Garen? Talk about an extreme makeover! It's all coming back now. I feel my blood pumping through my veins. Woe to you, O enemies of Karayan, for I shall personally slice, dice, and grind you up into hog feed. I don't suppose I can ask her to roll back to her polite, pre-makeover personality? Know this, lawyer. Yes? Now that I am stand as prosecutor, consider your defense's bench a headman's scaffold. If you wish to leave any last words, I advise you to start thinking of them now. Well, you still have a head with which to think, that is. Dead serious? Now it is time for the divination seance. Rafa, come forth. Your beloved ones, thank you for gracing us with your presence. Your beloved ones, I understand it may be difficult for you, but May we proceed with the divination seance? Yes, let us proceed. Forgive me for asking, but are you feeling physically unwell? If so, I would advise you to avoid any undue extortion. Your benevolence? What's wrong? Echo mine's anywhere but here. A lot's happened since yesterday. On top of the murder of her beloved father, she found out that he'd been planning a coup. And today she'll have to experience his death through his own eyes. Yeah, that'd be enough to shake anyone up. Still, it seems like she's worse off today than she was yesterday. Yeah, I don't remember her being this depressed. We must speak with our child. It is a mother's duty to discipline her child after all. Now, if you would excuse me. Discipline? Going from her, I don't like the sound of that at all. Wait. Karen didn't do something to her, did she? Your Eminence, about today's divination seance. As I understand it, the prosecution has yet to review its content. Is this deviation from protocol part of your plan? Prosecutor Shadmari, would you care to explain your actions? Your Eminence, the accused was caught at the scene of the crime. Therefore, I deemed no seance would be necessary for such a clear-cut case. You and your bleeding heart. You seek to spare Ray for the trauma of witnessing her father's death? Is that why you have done this? Not at all. You are concerned for me, Prosecutor Shadmari? That's oddly compassionate of him, all things considered. Your Eminence, Your Majesty, regardless of what is best for her benevolence, this case is blessed with a bounty of inconceivable evidence. So I believe we could reach the thrift verdict without forwarding precious time to a seance. You have a point. Personally, I would like to spare her benevolence any undue misery. Experiencing the murder of a loved one is a burden no one should have to bear. Prosecutor Shadmari, Your Majesty, can this trial truly proceed without a divination seance? I can't blame her for not wanting to experience her father's murder firsthand. Your Eminence, what are your feelings on the matter? Shall we have her benevolence return home for some much-needed rest? We shall not. You fools spoil her with your feckless words of compassion. Listen well, Rafa. You have spoken time and time again about how grown up you are now. Yes, but... So, let us see if the royal priestess has truly come into her own. Are you prepared to fulfill your duty and perform the divination seance as you should? Yes. That's better, see? Problem solved. Oh, Rafa, is this really a good idea? I guess we'll see. Very well, let's begin the divination seance. Nana, my robe. Oh. Looks like Nana's still missing. It's been a whole day already. Hobbed head? Yes? You remove my robe. What? Why me? Don't keep her benevolence waiting now, Mr. White. Can't you see she's ready to begin? Great had been reduced to royal robe remover. Like she's grooming Mr. White to be Nana's replacement. Very well, your benevolence. Please start when you are ready. Wafer. You know what must be done. There is no turning back now. I know. Final memories of the deceased. This should be interesting.
O Holy Mother, we hold this divination seance in your name. Let the eyes of everyone here be clear, and our ears be unstopped. O dance of devotion, guide the victim's soul to me, so that we may receive their final memories in the pool of souls.
Your malevolence! What's wrong? This is unacceptable! Bailiff! Take your malevolence to the first aid station at once! This is not good. Your Eminence, do you have any idea why her malevolence collapsed so suddenly? It seems she was not ready for what the deceased was to reveal. It overwhelmed her. Her inexperience and immaturity left her ill-prepared to face her father's death. And she said she could go through with it. How very disappointing. I know someone who's not winning Mother of the Year. Ever. I mean, of course Wafer's going to be overwhelmed. She's still just a child. It seems we have no choice but to move on to witness testimony. Your Majesty. Oh, yes. Let us proceed. Bailiff. Summon the first witness if you would. Is this not the accused? It is indeed. I would give him the opportunity to plead his case. The Chief Justice is more than an unrelenting presentation of the facts by the prosecution. It seems uncharacteristically fair of her. However, should the accused fail to produce convincing testimony, he, along with his cabal of traitorous lawyers, shall immediately be found guilty, and their heads will roll from their shoulders. What? Except then there was a catch. Your court, your rules, same as it always was, I see, Garen. Now then, Mr. Daruk Shanmari, if you could enlighten us as to what happened. Well, I would, if I could. I was struck by a sudden dizziness the moment I entered the tomb. The next thing I knew, I was standing there with a bloody knife in my hand. And lying right in front of me was Inga, dead as a doornail. I have no recollection of what happened in the intro, but I didn't kill him. At least, I don't think I did. It'd go against everything I believe in. That didn't explain squat. For the record, let it be known that the accused's fingerprints were all over the mortal weapon. And since he was caught in the act, there was no chance for a third party to tamper with it. Well, that certainly seems to point the finger at you, Mr. Shanmari. Even as a lawyer, I have to agree with you there, Your Majesty. Seriously, Daruk? This is no laughing matter. This is exactly what Garen wanted. Except Daruk tried to plead his case only to fail miserably. How low can she go? Prosecutor, behold this most unpleasant of spectacles and let it be inched into your soul. See how instead of accepting the inevitable, those fist-brained lawyers flounder and flop themselves straight into the abyss of despair. Yes, Your Eminence. Show me the way. Now then, would the defense please begin their cross-examination? I was struck by a sudden dizziness the moment I entered the tomb. The next thing I knew, I was standing there with a bloody knife in my hand. Hold it! Do you recall anyone putting the knife in your hand, Daruk? Yes, I would say I did, but I don't remember a thing from before I came to. You think there might have been a third party in the tomb, son? Yeah, because if you didn't do it, then the Ruko must have been there with you.
Objection!
You called, Your Eminence! Does she go anywhere without those goons? Was there a third party in the tomb when you were searching it? No, Your Eminence! We searched high and low, but we found no one of the sort! There you have it. Alright, they did search the place. Furthermore, my guards had the entire tomb surrounded, so there was no way for anyone to escape. That's right, no one got in or out without our knowledge. The government's on-site directives were absolutely flawless.
Urdi Hara Kara!
You see now, the presence of a third party is beyond the realm of possibility. The tomb was, for all intents and purposes, completely sealed off from the rest of the ward. What a waste of time. It could be even more obvious. Daruk must be the killer. Thanks for nothing, gallery guy. As if our graves weren't already deep enough. Accused, what do you believe about the possible presence of a third party? Well, based on the situation you presented, I'd say the chances are slim to none. You didn't have to agree with her, Daruk. his statement be added to his testimony? Very well, Mr. Sanmari, if you would. The more we press, the thinner our case gets. Well, let's keep pressing, and maybe we'll work out the wrinkles in it too. The possibility of a third party being in the tomb is probably non-existent. I'm lying right in front of me was as dead as a doornail. I've no recollection of what happened in the intro. Hold it! Days passed since the murder. Haven't you remembered anything in that time? My memory is completely blank. It's as if that part of my brain has been scooped right out. How very convenient. But even if you have no memory of the event, your guilt is without question. There is nothing more to debate. Forgetting one thing, Garen. I have no motive. You need abandon insurgents that seek to overthrow the government. I would say that alone is motive enough to stay our kingdom's minister of justice.
Objection!
I've declared countless times that I lead a bloodless revolution. I forbid violence and murder, even if some younger members may have a thirst for blood. A bloodless revolution? You don't really have a motive in that case. Is that an important statement? That was an important statement. I'd like my client to add to his testimony. Very well then. The accused will please do as the defense has requested. I don't have a motive for killing Inga after all. Me and my ilk seek a bloodless revolution. If I didn't kill him, at least I don't think I did, it would go against everything I believe in. Hold it! Can you state that you didn't kill him more definitively? How can I? I have no memory of what happened. Well, can you at least state whether or not you are a murderer? That I can do. I'm not a murderer. I would never kill anyone, no matter the circumstance.
Objection!
And do you have any evidence to support your claim that you did not kill the minister? Evidence? No, can't say I do. In that case, you will strike the statement I didn't kill him from your testimony. Wait, you can't just discard testimony like that. I mean, I'm the one cross-examining the defendant and all. Oh, you prattling tongue, foreign devil. I am the queen of this kingdom. And the queen is the law. Since I need not follow the laws that are in place, I can make and break them at will. Henceforth, the accused will refrain from saying I didn't kill him. What? So, whatever. It's the Garen show, after all, same as always. So, I guess there's no evidence that proves I didn't kill him either. We could establish the possibility of a third party. Does that possibility itself even exist? We don't have a choice. Proving it exists is the only way to start a real dialogue here. I was struck by a sudden dizziness the moment I entered the tomb. The next thing I knew, I was standing there with a bloody knife in my hand. The possibility of a third party being there in the tomb is probably non-existent. Objection! Your Eminence, I'm afraid this trial will not go exactly as you anticipated, because I can show how there might have been a third party in that tomb. Oh, how very fascinating. Go on. I do so love a good fairy tale. We did a luminol test at the crime scene, and we found a bloodstain that didn't match the Justice Minister's blood. I will remind you that neither Daruk nor Miss Faye were injured during the incident. The thing is, this bloodstain we found had been wiped up by someone. What's this? But who would have done such a thing? That's the big question, isn't it? Who wiped up the blood and why? Thinking about it logically, it must be someone who wanted to conceal their presence at the scene of the crime. Oh, To whom do you suppose the bloodstain might belong? The bloodstain belongs to... The bloodstain belongs to the wheel killer, of course. Whoever it was, they were probably shot while they were attacking Minister Inga. And since the blood would give them away, they had to wipe it up. I say it's because we know for a fact that Sister Minister fired his gun into two.
Objection!
I have the memory of a flea. There was nowhere for anyone to hide. This too is a known fact.
Objection!
But a bloodstain from a third party means there must have been someone hiding there. And where then? Tell me this. Where was this third party hiding? Oh, crime scene was thoroughly searched after it was discovered. So if there was a hiding place, it would have to be somewhere no one would dare look. Somewhere no one would dare look? Let's have your answer, defense. Now, where could a third party have hidden?
Take that!
There's one place no one would search, not even the Queen's Royal Guard. And that would be... inside Queen Amora's sarcophagus. Even now, it's locked up tight. No one would find you if you hid in there. I'm sure that its temperature control to preserve the mummy within. If someone dressed warmly enough, they could withstand the cold for a short time. This is sacrilege. Surely the perpetrator of such a foul deed would be cursed. But that's just it. The killer knew everyone would be too scared to open the sarcophagus. True. The guards were so scared of being cursed, they wouldn't even touch it. And when the coast was clear, the killer made a quick escape from within their frigid confines. Well now, that does sound like a plausible method of evading capture. The defense requests a DNA test on the bloodstain. And then we'll just see who the real killer is.
Such insolence!
Bow your head and kneel, lawyer. So your head may be parted from your shoulders. Huh? But the trial's not even over. Ah! How soon you forget. You're already on the headman's scaffold. As such, I could order your beheading at any moment. All I did was request a DNA test. There was no need to request such a test. Well, God, bring it forth now. Here you are, your evidence. The police have already identified the source of the bloodstain. The DNA test revealed that the blood is of the traitor Daruk Shadmati. What? But Daruk wasn't injured. So where did his blood come from? Maybe he coughed it up. Daruk's illness. Still, there was a lot of blood. Could he have really coughed up that much? Did he wipe it up to hide his failing health? Daruk, is it really that bad? You got me. Makes sense in Horn Devil, but this case has already been solved. You claimed that this bloodstain would lead us to the real killer, did you not? About that? Did you not make that claim of your own volition, defense? Yes, I did. She steered you in that direction, that is. I fell right into her trap. Do you see now the folly in opposing the very embodiment of the law? Whatever you say or do shall come to no avail. Third party at the scene of the crime. It's beyond the realm of possibility. No! Praise free for Queen Garrett! Her evidence's legal tactics are beyond compare! To say this, she really got us good. The gates of our sarcophagus is under the protection of the royal family. My husband and I are the only ones who can open it. Therefore, it would be impossible for some knave to open it. Can I really discover the sarcophagus as a hiding place, though? The rook is still in there. No, it's just ridiculous. I believe we have rebels and sympathizers in the gallery today. It is to you I speak. You've been listening. Luke Shadbody, the one who proclaimed a bloodless revolt. Has betrayed your cause by resorting to murder. No, it can't be. You would never. Must be some kind of mistake. Fine dragons and their sympathizers are starting to have doubts. This is regular and allowed us to cross-examine Daruk by establishing his guilt in Inga's murder. This effectively damaged his reputation among those who support him. True, but now we have an even bigger problem. And now, 50 lawyers, you will honor your end of the bargain. Accept your guilty verdict for your failure to explain your client's actions. Huh? Now, I shall pass judgment upon the criminal Daruk Shadmari. What's this? You shall pass judgment? But, Your Eminence, is that not my role? Hold your tongue. You are but a figurehead before me, the embodiment of law. Consider yourself dismissed. Let's go, Ryan. I shall now pass judgment upon the accused. Guilty.
Objection!
Wait! You didn't even give me a chance to rebut. So when you're defeated, lawyer. Not just this once, I'm willing to show you the depths of my compassion. Tell me why I should allow these proceedings to continue. Come, convince me. Quick, Apollo! You have to bluff. We've got to keep this trial going. Show that the crime could have been committed by a third party. Do that. Why don't you start with, the timing of Inga's murder? What? The showcase is built on a single premise. Inga was murdered after the Daruk entered the tomb. What if that's not true? Like, if our assumptions are all wrong, it just might work. Oh, don't keep restraining the fence. Daruk became the prime suspect because it didn't seem probable that there was a third party at the scene of the crime. But there's another question we should ask ourselves at this time. Was Mr. Inga really killed after Daruk entered the tomb? What nonsense is this? Setting aside the assumption that the murder occurred after Daruk arrived on the scene, opens up the possibility of a third party committing the crime. The question before us is, when was Mr. Inga really killed? Is it possible that before Daruk even set foot in the tomb, Mr. Inga was already dead? That would certainly make the possibility of a third party more probable. Why, of course. I felt unconscious right after I entered the tomb. Even if I hadn't, I wouldn't have had a clear line of sight to his body from the entrance. Which means you wouldn't have noticed his body either way. This scenario is entirely possible. And so we can't rule out the possibility of a third person committing the crime. I see. Well, that certainly does make sense. So far, so good. This might actually work. Very well. I shall play along with whatever little game you have knocking around in that tiny mind. I was starting to get quite bored of all this. I could do with a distraction. Yes. Let us hear some testimony that will shed light on when exactly the minister was slain. Bailiff, summon Wafer. Surely she has recovered by now. But what about me? Don't I serve a purpose anymore?